welcome to the Cryptonomatron channel, and today's ICO review is on SHIPCHAIN. Now, what is SHIPCHAIN? It is a logistics token, and SHIPCHAIN was founded with the mission of solving the greatest problems facing the logistics industry today. Excuse me. Their solution requires deep technology, but their vision is quite simple. Imagine a fully integrated system across the entire supply chain, from the moment it leaves the factory, field or farm to delivering the finished product to the customer's doorstep, federated in trustless, transparent blockchain contracts. That is SHIPCHAIN, the future of shipping. So, what are the problems this ICO, this project, intends to solve? Now, they are multiple in the logistics industry. The main one is bad tracking, which leads to problems with regularity and reliability of shipping services. The second one is a lack of transparency within the industry between all the parties involved. That includes the shipper, the courier, the brokers, etc., etc. There is no accountability directly. People pass the buck. So if there's a problem with the shipment, they will try and pass it around the supply chain for somebody to take the fall. There are middleman markups, so brokers sometimes take upwards of 30% for their service, and all they're doing pretty much is organizing a shipment from point A to point B. There are also misaligned incentives. There are no direct incentives. Nobody's working together. They're all working for their own gain. So how do they intend to solve these problems? Well, their aims are multiple. They aim to implement tracking and transparency within the system using blockchain technology. They will open a decentralized brokerage, meaning there will be no need for brokers and everything will be done without the use of middlemen, meaning that you can book directly on an online app from your phone or your tablet or your home computer or your office computer and book what service you require using all the information provided by the carrier. They're also going to maintain asset security, which means no losses or theft. They're going to implement trustless incentives, which means we don't have to rely on trust anymore. And they're going to operate a unified management system. All this under the blockchain. So let's go into a little bit of detail about each of these little categories here and how they're going to achieve what they want to achieve. So tracking and transparency, they're going to use a side chain to track shipments, meaning through global GPS systems, they can accurately pinpoint the location of any shipments, allowing the shipper to therefore see where their goods are at all times. That will also facilitate better communication from the shipper to the carrier and everybody involved in the supply chain. So the sidechain will operate off the main blockchain itself. They will use smart contract escrows to ensure that payments are only released when the goods are delivered safely and undamaged. They will work with ELD, and ELD is electronic log device developers, to integrate the system. Now, the ELD system in the USA is being implemented as a sort of track and trace system. Now, if you think about it, in a simpler version of it would be the post office. When you put a tracking number on a package, it then gets tracked at each stop on the way for the package delivery. So when it gets picked up, it gets put into the system. When it goes to the sorting depot, it gets put in the system. When it goes to dispatch, it gets put in the system, and so on and so forth. So SHIPCHAIN want to work with the ELD developers to integrate the system within their blockchain technology. Then they are going to allow internal carriers that use their own separate systems, localized systems, to feed information to a unified blockchain system so that everybody is using this unified system, so that all packages can be tracked regardless of what service you're using, regardless of what company, and everything's going to be on the same system. So a very ambitious idea there. So the next thing they're going to tackle is the decentralized brokerage. Now, what they want to do here is they want to get rid of the middlemen, the brokers. Now, the brokers, as I mentioned earlier, they take about 30% of fees for any shipment that they organize. Now, that's a lot of money that can be saved, and savings can be passed on to both the consumer and the carrier. And the way they're going to do this is going to operate a decentralized brokerage, which nobody controls. The carrier will put in all their information based on their costs and everything else, and then you as the shipper can choose the service that you want to use. So it will also allow the carriers to find the shipment solution, and that will be based on a multiple of factors: distance, traffic, fuel costs, etc. It will implement a smart contract through the blockchain and an escrow service, which again will only allow the payments to be released once the goods are delivered safely. The sidechain will track and monitor everything, and this will lower cost and also improve the security of your shipments against theft, losses, etc. So asset security, it will allow for the permissioning, the immutability and encryption, which will be inherent benefits of the blockchain technology. So basically, people cannot alter the blockchain themselves. So if the shipment goes missing, for example, or it's damaged, whoever is responsible will have to take responsibility. And this means there's no passing of the buck around the supply chain, blaming people, pointing fingers. It will all be immutable. Nothing can be changed. It will all be recorded. They will encode geographic data to increase cargo visibility. Again, you'll be able to see where your shipment is at all times. If it's on a boat, you'll be able to see exactly where it is moving across the ocean, and thus you can plan accordingly. And they will also use barcodes or hardware RFID integration with the system. Now that will allow for traceability and has a lot of benefits for cargo. So the trustless incentives here, they're going to offer encoding and encrypting waypoint information and data about the loads. So you're going to be able to track everything using the sidechain and the blockchain. Again, they're going to offer digital escrows, which means your payment only goes through if the goods are delivered securely. The other incentives here are individual players can be rewarded for their participation in the system. So whether that's a company, a carrier, a shipper, a truck owner, a ship owner, whatever it is, you will be rewarded for actually participating in the SHIPCHAIN system. They will also provide driver rewards. So there'll be incentives for drivers, for example, to keep under the speed limit, to drive safely, to adhere to green technology using electric vehicles, etc., etc. The unified management system, it will be an open ecosystem so anybody can access. They will leverage smart contracts upon this ecosystem. They will have a SHIPCHAIN web application for cargo bookings, so you'll be able to go on and book the service that you require without the use of a broker. So let me just explain the contracts and sidechains very briefly. We don't want to get too technical here. The smart contracts will be Ethereum EVM smart contracts that can be duplicated and used by anyone to orchestrate a shipping escrow on the distributed ledger. So you can make your own contracts on the back of their SHIPCHAIN smart contract system, which is very good. And that will ensure that mass adoption is more likely. They also want to keep costs low. Individual tracking waypoints and load data can be stored and verified in an associated sidechain, which will work side by side with the original blockchain, and that will work on a forked Ethereum blockchain called the SHIPCHAIN protocol. Now, this will allow the blockchain to function normally, whilst the individual tracking and everything else can be done on the sidechain, and this will cut the cost down. So they also have the web app called the SHIPCHAIN Web. And this will be the decentralized brokerage system, and it will be comprised primarily of an open marketplace connecting shippers and carriers. So you'll be able to go online and choose what service you want, and shippers and carriers can upload their services and put their data in depending on fuel costs, type of transport system, etc., etc. there will be full control over the supply chain without the need for a broker. Again, that's probably one of the biggest selling points here. They are going to remove the middlemen. So carriers will be able to post the capacity for their shipping and dynamically set the pricing. So if fuel costs lower or grow, they can adjust accordingly. And there will be multiple settings for the different functions that it has. So the carriers will be able to set everything to make sure they can still earn profits from the app. Also interesting is they are going to try and integrate customs or customs brokers into the system. So everything can be done seamlessly, and it will reduce the amount of paperwork, the amount of hold-ups, and it should make the system a lot more efficient, because as we know, especially in Thailand where I am, customs are not exactly the most efficient. They're also quite difficult to understand if you're a foreigner and you don't know the local customs regulations. So this hopefully should make it very easy to deal with them around the world. So let's quickly look at the token metrics and the distribution. Now, the pre-sale price is said to be 1 Ethereum for 1,110 SHIP, which means a 20% bonus over the normal price. Now, I attempted to get prices off the website. There's nothing on the website. There's nothing on the white paper that indicates the pricing for the token sale or the pre-sale, and the pre-sale is currently running. So I emailed them asking how I could join the pre-sale, and they told me the bonus was only 10%, so the price was a lot higher than this. Now, by not having that on their website, that immediately annoyed me, because I couldn't complete this slide for the token metrics, and also I couldn't pass on the information to you guys. So it's a bit up in air exactly what the bonuses are. On another website, I found some token metrics for their sale, and they were priced by amount purchased, and the minimum amount purchased was going to be $250,000 worth up to $20 million worth. That's an incredible amount of money, and the tier levels grew, or the bonus grew, the more you spent on the tokens. Now, again, I'm not going to post that here because I don't know whether that's correct or just for that particular group that was going to invest in this ICO. So we believe, or I believe, the public sale token price will be 925 SHIP per 1 Ethereum. No bonuses will be given during the public sale. Again, there's no information on their website, so it's not very intuitive at all. The pre-sale is currently ongoing. You can actually email them and sign up and make a payment, but no date for the crowd sale has yet been announced. And I think before that happens, they should really get their tokens sorted out, make it very clear for any potential investors coming in what they're going to get for their money. This was the only thing that I found on the website. So the pre-sale is private. It's running now in November. It's going to be up to 75 million SHIP tokens, which is quite a lot. They are going to try to raise up to $20 million, and the participant limits 250,000 up to 5 million there. So again, conflicting information from what I've heard. The main sale, not announced yet. Hard cap on the main sale of 175 million SHIP, up to 200,000 Ethereum, which is about 60 million US dollars, or at least it was when they did this this slide. It'll be a lot more now, and the participant limits will be $10 up to $1 million. Now, as you can see, the pre-sale will have a lot of whales going in, putting in money, and they'll get big bonuses, meaning they can dump on exchanges to the detriment of the little man. This is how the tokens are going to be distributed. Main sale is going to be 35% of all tokens, and that's not many. Pre-sale will be 15%. The team themselves will take 15%. Advisors and a bounty campaign will be 12%. Company reserve 10%, and the driver rewards will amount to 13%. So there's quite a lot in reserve there. And again, there was no information about whether they'll be released immediately after the crowd sale or whether they'll be kept for a period of time to incubate. So as per the token use, what can you do with them? You will at least need to own one of them to get the membership status to access the services, look at the blockchain and also access the web app to book any services as a shipper, or even advertise your services as a carrier. The transactions will be paid and settled in the tokens. The web app will facilitate purchase and exchange of the tokens, so you can use the app to pay with your Visa card, debit card, whatever. There will be an exchange facility too, so they will integrate with a already existing exchange, so you can exchange your Bitcoin or altcoins with the SHIP token. The tokens valued are at up to 25, sorry, I'll start that again. Tokens valued at up to 20% of each freight transaction. And they will be given to the driver carrier as a gamified incentive, and they will be tradable on exchanges. So the roadmap going forward, let's see what they got. So in Q1 2018, after the crowd sale is complete this year, they envisage listing on the exchanges. In Q2 2018, the track and trace platform will be integrated with the electronic log devices. In Q3 2018, they're going to test the decentralized brokerage. In Q4 2018, the SHIPCHAIN web platform will be released. In the first half of 2019, they anticipate development of the custom sidechains. In Q3 2019, a small carrier is acquired for internal testing, so they will purchase a small logistics company and do their own testing. In Q4 2019, air and sea freight pilot programs will be initiated, and Q1 2020, community open source projects will be sponsored, hoping to expand to a bigger market. So as to the team, I did have a quick look through most of their profiles. It's quite a good, strong team. They have a very strong background in logistics. That includes the CEO and some of the advisors as well. They are advised by a certain Al Pettinato, or ex-VP of DHL. They're also advised by a Kevin Harrington, who's the inventor apparently of the infomercial and has been at the center of many startups. He's an entrepreneur himself. He's quite a key figure. So those are the two MVPs that I would pick for this, this project, both advisors. They have an 11 core member team and 14 advisors so far. So what do I think? Let's sum it up. The positives for this ICO: it is a great concept. The logistics industry is quite fractured and quite fragmented, and something like a blockchain technology would benefit immensely both the consumer and the carriers, because it will make everything more efficient. There'll be more trust. If everything's stored in a mutable ledger, it can't be faked. It really has got a lot of benefits. So the concept itself is a very, very sound one. There is a multi-billion-dollar market for shipping. Maersk are developing their own blockchain technology at the moment, but again, it still will be centralized because it will be owned by Maersk. However, a decentralized system will take the power away from the brokers and put it in the hands of the consumer, and that's what it's all about. It solves real-world problems. As I discussed before, the logistics industry is very large globally. It's very fragmented, lots of different players all working for their own interests, and this will solve a lot of the real-world problems. They have a very strong team, and they have a very good advisory board, which indicates good potential for success. And of course, the users of the system, they can earn rewards. So that incentivizes people to actually partake. There is a real use case for the SHIP tokens, as they will facilitate purchasing of the service and also the rewards as well. They are also established partners on board, including Purview, who are a $6 billion US company that deals with poultry, I believe. I don't know much about them, but they seem to be involved and they are backing this project. So they do have good support But of course, it's not without the negatives, and the most obvious one, they don't have a working product. It is a white paper ICO, so they're going to lose marks for that, guys. We need to see, before we put money in anything, something actually physical. It's all well and good talking a good game, but unless you can play a good game, then my money's staying in my pocket. And I need to see a demo. I need to see I need to see something that's physical here. Have they implemented it before? And no doubt they know what they're doing. I've no doubt they're ambitious, and they will probably succeed in doing, at least making a working product. But again, with no working product, when this goes to ICO, you're only buying into a concept here, guys, yeah? The second big thing for me was an unstated and confusing token metrics. There isn't a breakdown of all the tokens and the amounts, which isn't good for me. I don't want to sit here and have to calculate myself. There's no prices of the tokens stated on the website too, which I think is not going to entice investors, especially smaller investors like myself, to invest in the project. It's also seems quite geared towards very large investors. I had to contact them myself through email to get any answers, and I was given a minimum figure of $25,000 to invest at pre-sale level, with a bonus of only 10%. Where I've seen elsewhere bonuses of upwards of 20-25% being given to pre-sale participants. So again, if nothing's stated, in my opinion, that's not very enthusing for me to get invested in this project. They also have a very long roadmap that may discourage smaller investors and quick investors that are looking to benefit from a quick flip of this token. The product isn't obviously available yet, so I don't think the token's going to do anything until we see an actual product being released and some adoption, at least in the industry itself. So that may well discourage people from investing in this project. Number 4, it's a very, very ambitious project. If you go and read the white paper, you look at the website, it's ambitious, and that means it's going to be very difficult to implement. So if you're going to invest, I would suggest you are taking quite a large risk, because they may not be able to deliver. And again, this all goes back to not having a working product out there. They haven't proven anything yet. So you're taking a gamble if you invest in this. But again, you take the gamble, the rewards will be very high if they manage to implement what they say they're going to do. And again, to compound, there's no industry adoption of this technology as yet. Even if they had a working product and they got 2 or 3 companies using it to demonstrate it, there would be more enthusiasm on my part to get invested here, because I need to see it working. I need to see small companies using it so they can prove their business model, and that hasn't happened yet. And I believe they intend to do that, purchasing their own small logistics company sometime in the latter half of 2019, and that is quite a long way away from me. So what's my verdict on the SHIPCHAIN ICO then? Well, all up, I'm going to say it's a great idea with unclear token metrics and no working product. So it's still a white paper ICO, and as such, I can only give it 2.5 stars out of 5. Now, the idea itself is a 5-star idea, but as I said, it's an ambitious project with no working demo, and it's unclear whether they're going to be able to finish what they've started. So maybe further down the road, if they've already got a working product, when they announce the ICO, then I may invest. But for the time being, I'm reluctant to invest in white paper ICOs, simply because there are other ICOs out there that have functioning products that would be more of a sound investment. However, as I said, if you do invest in this and they do come to the table with a working product, then the rewards will be phenomenal. They have a very strong team. There are a lot of big names backing them, so it may be worth taking the risk. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that review. If you did, please like and subscribe. I will be back tomorrow with another video. Thank you for watching, and let's hope the channel grows. If you've got any suggestions, I did this video without music actually, because a few people were complaining about the music. They didn't like it, or it was distracting or too loud. So let me know, is it better without the music? Do you want some background music? I'm open to suggestions. All right, guys, so thank you for viewing again. I think it's time to go to the pub.